What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 31 of the Financially Free Journey podcast, and I am your host, Courtney Dyer. Welcome to the Financially Free Journey podcast, and I am your host, Courtney Dyer, and this podcast aims to dispel the seemingly complex topic of personal finances, money management, debt, savings, investing, and even retirement. This podcast is specifically designed to help you feel empowered by increasing your knowledge so you can flex those money muscles. Now, before I get into today's episode, I have to say thank you to all of the listeners and those of you that have supported the podcast. Now, this podcast is like my baby, and I love bringing content to you guys. I'm so passionate about increasing financial knowledge and helping people really bring their A game when it comes to their personal finances. And it really helps when you take the time to go and review the podcast. Now, if you haven't done it already, it literally takes 30 seconds to go and give the show a 5-star review. And when it comes to podcasts, if you don't know, reviews are the way podcasts become more discoverable to other listeners that are out there that could really benefit from this information as well. So the more reviews we get, the more people are able to find the show and listen to the content. So take the 30 seconds and go review it. I will be so grateful. Okay, so now on to what you all came here for. Today's episode is all about answering the most common, specifically the top 10 most common investing questions. I'm going to get right into it, guys. So number one, most commonly asked question when it comes to investing is, what are blue chip stocks? You've probably heard this phrase. This is a great question because the phrase blue chip stocks is widely used, but a lot of people may not know exactly what that means. So blue chip stocks are stocks from public companies that have great reputations, and people usually know who the companies are, like Berkshire Hathaway or Facebook. To be a blue chip stock, the company has consistent success and they deliver positive returns to their investors over time. Now, blue chip stocks are typically considered in the investing world safe bets when you're looking at investing in equities, but don't be fooled into thinking that they can't fail because nothing is risk-free. So you have to remember that you are still investing in equities and there is always risk, regardless of how successful a company is. So number two, this one, I think this is probably the most commonly asked question that I get specifically on social media. But the second most common question is, what is day trading and is it for me? Okay, so let's go into day trading. Day trading is essentially exactly what it sounds like, right? You buy stocks and then you sell the stocks in the same day. And the way that day traders make money is typically by investing large sums into stocks and then taking advantage of the small swings in the market in the stock price. The profit that they make is thus the spread between what it costs them, their cost basis on the stock, and then what they sold it for. Now, the primary goal of a day trader is to turn quick profit. And when it comes to their investment strategy, it's all about that quick return. So day trading is extremely risky. It's risky business and definitely not for the faint of heart. This is definitely not the right investment strategy for someone who's just starting out with investing. And I really want to make sure that the common listener or the beginning investor isn't lured in by turning a quick profit. Remember, if it was easy, everyone would do it. So get some more experience in the market. Make sure that you understand there's so many different day trading strategies out there. There are some people that have made tons of money just day trading 3 different stocks. You have to know what you're doing, have a specific strategy, and it can absolutely work. But you have to make sure that you realize the risks that you're taking. Okay, number 3, what is hedging? Okay. Hedging can be looked at as a way of buying insurance on your investments. One of the ways that investors hedge their investments is by buying what's called derivatives, which are investments that are designed to balance risk. Investors typically put their money into derivatives to really balance out the risk of their portfolio. And if risk is something that you're concerned about, this is definitely something that you should talk to your investment professional about. Okay, number 4. This is a great one. I have outstanding student loans. Should I pay off my loans in full or start investing? Okay, I can only answer this question as to what I personally believe to be the best option, because I know there's so many people out there like the Ramsey followers that'll say you have to be completely debt free. So as for me, I think investing now instead of later would be the very best option. You have to remember, when it comes to investing and really having enough money for your retirement when that time comes, time is money. Your money that you invest will compound, meaning the initial invested funds and gains will grow exponentially over time. So really, this is a personal decision, though, because paying off any debt, and specifically student loan debt, can be extremely rewarding, because debt is not only financially draining, but a lot of times it's psychologically draining as well. And I'm a huge advocate for paying off debt, don't get me wrong. And if your mission is to be debt-free, like that's your financial plan, you need to make sure that you're not getting sidetracked by investing and, what everybody's talking about, taking advantage of, the market being low. If your plan is to be debt-free, stick to your plan, become debt-free. This really is a personal decision, but I know for me, time is money. Investing now, letting my money compound over time really is critical, and that is a part of my strategy. So you really need to just weigh and measure both options and come up with a decision that best suits your long-term goals and how the debt is impacting you, again, both financially and, really mentally. Okay, number 5. I keep hearing that I need to quote unquote diversify my investment portfolio. How do I know how much I should put in stocks versus bonds? Okay, great question. This is a great question, and the answer is going to be different for everyone. I know sometimes that's not helpful, but let me get into it. First off, it's important to keep in mind the phrase, don't put all your eggs in one basket. I know you've heard that, and that really does apply here. You want to make sure that you have your money spread out over the market and invested in things that don't all move up and down. They aren't impacted by the same things in the economy when we're looking at the economic cycle. This is going to help protect you from systematic risk in the market. The other aspect to think about is that you need to think about your overall investing objectives, and the time frame is really key here for investing your funds. An easy way to think about it as well is the longer the time frame you have and the more comfortable you are with risk, the more risk you're really going to be willing to take by putting your money into equities. So if you're getting closer to retirement and you don't feel as comfortable with risk, or waking up one day to your portfolio being down by 20%, you probably should look at a higher percentage of your funds being invested in things like bonds. But overall, I do have to say that, of course, you guys know what I'm going to say. Talk to a financial professional and really get a take on their recommendations according to your specific situation. But remember, equities, you need a long time invested, and they are more risky inherently by nature. And with bonds, a lot of bonds are long-term investments as well, but inherently they have not been as risky as equities. So you have to really know your time frame, how long each of these investment options are going to tie up your money for, what are the penalties involved for getting out early if you need the funds. You really need to understand that. But the concept of diversifying your portfolio is critical because there's so many risks that are involved with each investment vehicle. So you really need to understand the risks and diversify accordingly. Okay. 6th question. I really want to start investing. Should I look at picking individual stocks? If so, how do I decide what stocks to pick? Okay, This is a loaded question. I get this question a lot. I have a lot of people DM me on Instagram and say, hey, what are some hot picks right now when it comes to stocks? Let me tell you, right now, everyone is interested in the market. People who have never had interest in investing before are now wanting to become day traders, right? And playing their hand in the market, which is great. I am all for people wanting to become interested in investing and really taking an active role in their financial success. The market has run record highs and been bullish for a very long time. With this year's overdue correction on top of COVID, we are now seeing stocks at a major discount. So I do get this question a lot. But the short answer here, guys, is no. You should not be looking at picking individual stocks. Here's the thing. Unless you really understand how to look at a company's financials and determine if a company is in a good financial situation, you should be looking at things like index funds. So depending on the fund that you choose, index funds give you exposure to, it can be thousands of companies if you're picking a global index fund, or hundreds of companies if it's a domestic index fund. But you can participate in these companies in the overall market increase, and you don't have to take major risk on individual companies. As the great Warren Buffett has stated, do not invest in things that you don't understand. It can be very dangerous to hop on the individual stock train because companies can have bloated stock prices based off of their true value. And if you don't understand how to evaluate the financials, this is not the option for you. I would say start out by dipping your toe in the water, so to say, by investing in some index funds if you're wanting to invest on your own and not have a financial professional help you. Again, this is my opinion, but that's really, if it was me personally, I would start out with investing in an index fund. Okay, number 7. How much of my income should I be investing? This is a great question. So as a general rule of thumb, you should be saving a target of, I would say, 20% of your salary. And this includes your retirement contributions, liquid savings contributions, as well as investing contributions. Now, again, this answer to this question varies depending on your overall income, how much debt you have, and the time frame for your retirement. But I would say as a general rule of thumb, at least 20% of your income should be saved. I have to preface that eliminating high interest debt is first and foremost step number 1 before investing. But after that, make sure your living expenses are in line to allow yourself, some additional funds to save. But from there, you need to ensure that you have an emergency fund saved and set aside that is fully liquid. Now, with your emergency fund, when I say fully liquid, you may be tempted to invest these funds in the market and keep them set aside in an investment account, but they need to be in a fully liquid vehicle like a high yield account, a savings account, where you can access this. And you need to be okay with the fact that you're not going to be earning a high return on this money. This is really that emergency fund that you need to be able to tap into quickly and have available to you at all times. And the emergency fund should be at least 3 months of living expenses. And if you're self-employed, it should be a little more than that. I would say maybe 6 months. But now, assuming that you have done everything that we've talked about, I would say automatically deducting at least 20% of your income. And the key word there, guys, is automatically deducting that money. So it's out of sight, out of mind, and have it go directly into your investing account. This is a great strategy to help set you up for financial success. Okay, number 8, what is the minimum amount of time I should plan on keeping my money in an investment account? I'm going to say it again. What a great question. All of these are great questions. That's why I'm answering them. But this is a loaded question too, guys. Again, it really depends on your specific situation, but I can only speak to some generalizations here. So if you're going to invest funds, you need to really plan on not accessing those funds for at least 3 to 5 years. This is going to give your investment time to ride out any ups and downs in the market and really give you that projected return on your money. Whew, okay, we've got a couple more that I'm going to cover before we run out of time. Number 9. How do I know when I should sell stocks I'm invested in. This is great. Okay, so the age-old adage here is buy low and sell high. But a lot of you want to know what that means exactly, because we know that's the concept. We want to buy things low, we want to sell them high, and we want to make that profit in between. I mentioned earlier that we're seeing a lot of stocks at a discount, but what does that mean exactly? Think about it this way, guys. You go to the store and you see your favorite name brand shoes that are on sale for 30% off. That's exactly what's happening in the market right now. We have seen major correction in the evaluation of companies. So if you're looking at the financials of some of these companies, they are still financially strong and a good buy. This means right now is a great time to buy those stocks at a discount. These are companies that have, really dug into their financials, and you can see that they're in a strong position and they're likely to rise again over time. And again, to not contradict myself, this is for people who feel comfortable enough to look at those financials to be able to pick those individual stocks. But make sure that you really sell at a target price. So make sure that you set that target and you stick to your plan. Once the company has risen to that value, you simply sell the stock. Make sure you stick to your plan and don't get greedy. Okay. Let's do one more question. Number 10, what are some investing red flags? Oh, red flags. I love it. The top red flag, I would say, is if it seems too good to be true, then it most definitely is. Also, if you're told that there isn't any risk, you need to beware, because investing is inherently risky and all investment options have their own risks attached to them. I would skip on any investment where I'm told that it's risk-free, personally. I mentioned this earlier, but if you don't understand an investment, you should not invest in it. Think of it this way. If you can't explain the investment and how it works to a friend, then it's not something that you should invest in. Something that has been happening more frequently, I want to make sure I mention this, is investments that require you to quote unquote refer a friend in order to make money. These are scams. So if you're presented with anything like this, run the other way. True investments do not require you to refer other people to them or recruit people in order for you to make a return on your money. Okay, we were able to cover all 10 questions. And we covered a lot of information, so that's a lot to digest. I hope that this episode helped you become more comfortable with investing and really taking that next step on your money journey. And I have to mention it, if you're not already, make sure you go follow us on Instagram. It's at Financially Free Journey for daily tips and motivation that I post up to help you on your financially free journey. Until next time.